In 2018, astronomers discovered something that shouldn't exist according to every textbook in the world. At that distance, surface temperatures exceed 1200 Celsius, hot enough to melt steel. Yet this planet has survived for millions of years. The planet is so massive, 1.2 times the size of Jupiter, but here's the catch. It orbits its star closer than Mercury orbits our sun. At that distance, surface temperatures exceed 1200 Celsius, hot enough to melt steel. When Dr. Joshua Wynn and his team at Princeton analyzed the data, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. They triple-checked the instruments thinking something was broken. The research was published in the Astrophysical Journal in September 2018, and the astronomy community erupted. Within 48 hours, the discovery trended globally. Scientists debated, conspiracy theorists speculated, and everyone asked the same question. Here's the thing. According to all our models, a planet this massive is close to a star apart billions of years ago, but it's still there. Here's the thing. A planet this massive should have been torn apart. The intense gravitational forces should have destroyed it, but it's still there. Normally, a planet forms from dust and gas over millions of years, but this one. The planet is over 1 billion years old. It completes a full orbit in just 26 hours, and it's so close to its star. Our current models predict that a planet this size so close to its star shouldn't even form in the first place. Normally, a planet forms from dust and gas over millions of years, but this one exists in such a hostile environment that it should have been evaporated long ago. In these conditions, water doesn't exist as liquid radius, supered or ice, or as broken apart atoms, yet somehow the planet's atmosphere persists. The planet should be a bare, rocky core. But observations show it still has an atmosphere, and we don't know why. When spectroscopy analyzed the light passing through the planet's atmosphere, they found chemical signatures that shouldn't be there: sodium, potassium, and water vapor in concentrations that break theoretical models. In these conditions, water doesn't exist as liquid or ice, only as alp, yet somehow the atmosphere persists. This is where it gets really weird. Most planets lose their atmospheres, but WASP-12b reduce with. To understand how extreme WASP-12b is, compare it to other hot Jupiters we've discovered. HD 29. The story of WASP-12b spans nearly 2 decades of observation. First detected in 2028, new data from James Webb is revealing even stranger secrets. So now you know the basic facts. But here's the real mystery. Why does this planet exist at all? Let's dive into the science that baffled the entire astronomy community. Standard planetary formation theory says planets form and protoclump together over millions of years. But this process should produce planets at certain distances, not super close ones. One theory is orbital migration. Planets form farther out, then gradually migrate inward due to greater change of position. But here's the problem. As WASP-12b migrated inward, every typhoid should have. The typhoid should evaporate its atmosphere. But here's the problem. As WASP-12 migrated inward, every discord should have destroyed it here. In planetary physics, there's an energy balance. Energy in versus energy out. How? WASP-12b is tidally locked. One side always faces the star, the other always faces away. Models predict wind speeds on WASP-12b should exceed 5,000 miles per hour, faster than any hurricane on Earth. Models predict wind speeds on WASP-12b should exceed 5,000 miles per hour, faster than any hurricane on Earth. The planet's atmosphere evaporates as stimulation in, which suggests there's a source replenishing it. The planet's core is rock and metal, typical for a gas giant. But the atmosphere contains surprising levels. The more we study WASP-12b, the more questions pile up. It's so far every distance, every within map is wrong. Let me summarize the mysteries. Impossible migration, tidal locking extremes, unexplained atmosphere loss, mysterious metal vapor. Let me summarize the mysteries. Impossible migration, and energy balance that doesn't add up. So how does WASP-12b exist? Theory number 1, magnetic field protection. Perhaps WASP-12b has an incredibly strong magnetic field, stronger than anything in our solar system. Earth's magnetic field protects us from solar radiation. It's relatively weak. Jupiter has a magnetic field 20 times stronger than Earth. A super strong magnetic field could deflect some of the solar wind radiation, but even at 1,000 times our strength, it wouldn't provide complete protection. Some radiation would still penetrate. A super strong magnetic field could deflect some of the solar wind and radiation, but even at Earth's strength, if the all wind was penetrate.
So while a super strong magnetic field could explain WASP-b's spark devolval, we have not yet such a field the key.
Theory number 2, exotic atmosphere composition. What if WASP-12b is made of so unproject? Theory number 2, exotic atmosphere composition. What if WASP-12b's atmosphere is made of materials so unusual? Normal hot Jupiters have atmospheres dominated by hydrogen and helium, light gases that easily escape. Here's why this matters. Heavy metals evaporate much more slowly than light gases. Sodium and potassium molecules. And here's the genius surfaces of the atmosphere. Volcanic gas and chief coal in the atmosphere. This theory is intriguing because it solves multiple mysteries at once. But it raises a new question. Can a planet fully know? Throughout history, when we encounter phenomena we can't explain, it often means our fundamental models are wrong. What new physics could explain WASP-12b? Perhaps modified gravity models that work differently near extreme fields. What new physics could explain WASP-12b? Perhaps modified gravity models that work differently near extreme fields. The good news is that newer telescopes like James Webb are now observing WASP-12b with right deep in the mystery. The good news is that newer telescopes like James Webb are now observing WASP-12b, or date routing inclusive. WASP-12b stands as a testament to how much we still don't know. It's beautiful and humbling, and that's what makes science wonderful. So what does WASP-12b mean for humanity? First, it shows us how vast the possibilities are for planetary systems and environments. We often define habitable as places where liquid water can exist. By that, the possibility means being. On Earth, we've discovered life thriving in environments we thought impossible. Boy finds a way in extreme conditions. Could life exist on WASP-12b? Almost certainly not in forms we'd recognize. But the exercise of imagining it. WASP-12b is just one of over 4,500 exoplanets. WASP-12b is just the tip of an iceberg. The good news is that space agencies worldwide are investing in new telescopes and missions. Next, I get to see unprecedented data about exoplanets. WASP-12b teaches us humility. It reminds us that the universe is far more complex and exponentially matter.
اللهم لا تدع لنا في هذه الليلة المباركة ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا حاجة إلا قضيتها لنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم استجب فيه دعاءنا، استجب فيها دعاءنا، اقضي فيها حوائجنا يا رب العالمين. ارزقنا في هذه الليلة راحة البال وصلاح الحال وقبول الأعمال وحسن المآل. لا تخيب لنا رجاء، لا ترد لنا دعاء، لا تشمت بنا الأعداء. اشفنا ربنا من كل داء. اللهم في هذه الليلة اجعلنا من أعظم عبادك نصيبا في كل خير تقسمه في هذه الليلة، ونور تهدي به، ورحمة تنشرها، ورزق تبسطه، وضر تكشفه، وبلاء ترفعه، وفتنة تصرفها. اللهم في ليلة النصف من شعبان صب علينا الخير صبا صبا، ولا تجعل عيشنا كدا كدا. اللهم صل على سيدنا رسول الله في الأولين، وصل على سيدنا رسول الله في الآخرين، صل على سيدنا رسول الله في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم آمين.
To recap, WASP-12b is an impossibly extreme world. It shouldn't exist, yet it does, and it challenges everything we think we know about planetary science. Now I want to hear from you. Which theory do you think is most likely? Vote in the comments. 1 for magnetic field, 2 for exotic atmosphere, or 3 for unknown physics. I've linked all the research papers and NASA sources in the description and community post if you want to dive deeper into the real science. If you loved this deep dive, subscribe for more cosmic mysteries that challenge everything. I upload weekly deep dives about space, science, and the universe's biggest unknowns. Thank you so much for watching. The universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we could ever imagine. And that's why I love space science. See you in the next mystery.